Today it's time to revisit this head. It's the Peavey XXX. The Peavey XXX is in a head which is no longer in production, but nevertheless I like the Peavey XXX really for its crushing heavy tones. And there are also some other Peavey amps which are similar, which you can see here, the JSX, but also here I have the 6505, which are maybe more popular. I don't know, but what I can say about all these Peavey amps, they can all deliver crushing high gain tones. And if you're interested in the other ones, please check out my YouTube channel for videos about these. But today, as I said, we will revisit the XXX. And the thing with this XXX is it has 3 channels, clean, crunch and ultra. And well, we could start maybe with the clean channel. Other than that, we have only a master volume, so no power amp control. And let's play around with the clean channel. So the clean channel doesn't have a gain control, and therefore you have to crank the volume here if you would like to have a little bit of distortion happening. And that would make it not usable, I think, with the other channels, or I don't know, maybe we could try it. So let's dial back the master volume and crank the volume here in the clean channel. So it starts to distort, but honestly, if you would like to have these low crunch tones, anything which is not clean, I would recommend another channel, not the clean channel, because this stays clean pretty long, and it has a nice clean tone, I must say. By the way, I'm playing through my Marshall 1960 AV, so the cabinet with the vintage 30 speakers, mic with an SM57. And if we crank the treble, the mids and the bass, which I like to do on the other channels, still sounds nice. It has an active tone control as far as I remember, so you don't hear anything if you dial it back to 0, or at least almost nothing. Here, if you crank the knobs, it doesn't change the character that much, so Not that flexible, I would say, this channel, but also very good sounding. And yeah, you have your clean tone. By the way, I'm playing my Harley Benton Fusion with the tone writer generator pickups. Anyway, I think you're not here for the cleans, so let's go on to the crunch channel. Currently the gain is at 12 o'clock, and the mids and bass, which is called body and bottom here, so they have these little symbols of beautiful women, and here instead of treble, mids and bass, they say hair, body and bottom, which is nice. But I set everything on 10 here except gain is at 12 o'clock, so 10 means it's at full volume. If I set hair, body and bottom to 12 o'clock, it's it's sounding a little bit thinner, and I would dial back hair then. So also not that different. If you crank it all, as I did before, it's way louder, you have to dial back the volume. It sounds a little bit fuller. And let's play around with the gain. So gain at 9 o'clock. It's gain at 7. So really you cannot get it to nearly clean. There's always a little bit of distortion happening here. I go further down, then it disappears. And if I set it to more than 12 o'clock, it tends to get muddy. So yeah, I wouldn't set it higher than 12 o'clock, and at 12 o'clock it has high gain for me. So it's basically a high gain channel for me, for my taste, and of course you can reduce the gain, then you have this light crunch tone, or not light crunch, this crunch tone, which is also nice, but honestly it doesn't sound like a Marshall crunch or something, it's just has its own character. Let's see what how it sounds with the EQ at 12, volume at 12. So it sounds pretty similar here in the room, and I think on the recording it will be the same. I don't know if you can hear a difference. So yeah, the EQ is not that effective, but to me with this cap it sounds like it should. So no problems with that. Amp doesn't come with a noise gate, but with an effects loop. And I must say, it's not that terribly noisy. I'm quite close to the speaker now. Anyway, so let's go to the Ultra channel. And I have to... Let's start with the same settings like we did in the Crunch channel. And we can compare these. So now I set the EQ at 10, so which is maximum, and I must say they sound pretty similar. There is a little bit of a difference in the voicing, but I couldn't say what it is. Maybe the Ultra channel here, the red one, is a little bit more scooped, but I would say maybe around the 800 hertz or something, but not that different. So let's see if we dial back the gain here. Let's see, now I set the gain at 12 o'clock here in the Ultra channel, at 9 o'clock at the Crunch channel. Let's see how they compare to each other, sound-wise. So I must say, I think I wouldn't use both channels for high gain because they then the difference is too well. It's very little, and I'd rather dial in here a crunch tone with way less gain than in the Ultra channel. And I would use the Ultra channel for riffage and also for leads. high cut now on the recording. Usually in a live situation, I think I would use a high cut, but as this amp doesn't come with a presence control, the treble control has to be very powerful, and it is. So here it's called hair, as I said, and now the EQs are all maxed. So I hope you could hear it, but they are active, so they are affecting the sound really much, if at least in the high gain channel here, not so much in the clean channel. And also if you set them all at the same value, it's similar. So if you set them all at 5 or all at 10, it's similar, except the overall volume is a little bit louder at 10. But as soon as you start to change one of the knobs, you can hear immediately that it affects the tone drastically. And yeah, as I said, I'd recommend to max everything in the EQ and start from there, because I think the amp is very, very well balanced, so it doesn't need much tweaking. Yeah, so great amp, don't need a boost pedal or something in addition. Of course, I would enter something in the effects loop, so at least a noise gate and maybe some nice chorus for the cleans or delay for leads. But other than that, it's a great high gain amp. If you like to play traditional rock, I wouldn't recommend that amp because the voicing it's more or less tailored to high gain riffage, I think. Then I would rather recommend some of the Marshall amps, or even maybe the 6505, which has its own character, but it can deliver, I think, a little bit more convincing crunch tones than this one. But if you were a metal player, yeah, this would be the way to go. Way easier to handle than a Recto, for example. And yeah, these are now quite affordable on the market. So if you got your hands on one of these, yeah, you should get it. So I hope this helps you, and as always, please consider subscribing my channel. See ya.